Welcome to Burn the Ship. This is the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs or professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We talk to people that have walked the walk, talked the talk, been through all the things that we experience as small business owners, and joined us today to tell us about them. Hopefully we can take some of their skills and experience and apply it to our own business ventures. So thank you for joining us. Anybody that shares some time with myself, some time with the audience, trying to bring some value to some of these people, especially in a B2B scenario. You work a lot like me where you're constantly solving problems for business owners. So talking about some of that and letting people know kind of how to apply it to themselves, I think is very valuable. So thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. Thank you. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, my name is Zach Dasher. I run Dasher Accounting Services, and I help businesses with their bookkeeping, and I try to simplify that process as much as possible, and make it easy for them at tax time.
So tell me a story. What is your background, and how did you get into the entrepreneur side of bookkeeping?
Sure. I've been in accounting for almost 10 years now, and I've been in the corporate world, and I had this realization like that my income is relying on one source, right? And kind of scared me a little bit. So I already knew accounting and finance, and I'm like, man, if I can help business owners, it'll kind of diversify that income, right? So if one person decides to, move on, I could just find somebody else, and it doesn't hurt quite as much.
Sure.
So,
absolutely. So what was your role in the corporate world?
I started off when I was still in college, and I was an office manager for a company, and I was the only one in that office. So I had experience doing everything, payroll, accounts payable, receivable, everything, QuickBooks, and I did that for a few years. And then I started working as a financial analyst. So I kind of went a little beyond accounting to try to, have that forward look. And it's just, I did that for a couple of years, and then I kind of went a little, different direction. I tried to do mortgages, and I sold insurance for a little bit, and then I was like, man, I need to get back to accounting. It's what I'm good at. It's what I learned. So, and that's kind of where it all came out at. So
you got a good little bit of sales experience in the mortgage and the insurance game.
Yeah,
I'm imagining.
Yeah.
How do you apply that to what you do now?
To me, currently, it's actually easier. Because like I think I'll be the first one to say I'm not great at sales, right? But when you're having a conversation with somebody for their bookkeeping, and to me it feels different. So instead of like, hey, here's my thing, buy it, you're like, hey, what kind of problems are you having, with your current bookkeeper, with your business, and how can I help? And it's more of a two-way conversation. So when you get to the end, at the end of the conversation, you're like, hey, I can help you. This is how it's going to work. And it's just a lot more straightforward and a lot easier to do, in my opinion.
What do you love right now? Have you found the need to get niche-y, to get specific, to play in a specific playground that works best for you, or?
I'm pretty close to that point. Right now I'm working with 7 different businesses.
Oh, nice.
And I'm in that kind of middle stage where I'm still trying to figure out, what type of business to work with. But I'm getting pretty close.
Nice.
We both know somebody that owns a physical therapy place.
Mm-hmm.
I do their bookkeeping, and it goes really well. And I get along with the business owner really well. So I'm thinking maybe the healthcare industry.
Nice.
The smaller, medium-sized offices. That's kind of what I'm thinking now.
I think that there's a big need there as well. What I experience in that space is that a lot of the like EMR, EHR practice management solutions wrap up a lot of things into a little bit of technology. So I think what happens is like the people that are getting into that space like realize that there's some version, some little tiny form of accounting in a lot of those pieces of softwares, and that at any sort of growth level or trajectory, that stuff just doesn't cut it. So I think that there's a big need, and you're going to kind of have some of a similar experience to me of like, hey, this thing that's built in isn't necessarily working for you right now. Let me take some of that load off your back. I think that you're making a wise decision in that space. And how long has it been for you? You're still pretty fresh into your business venture, huh?
Yeah, I started early 2025, so I'm almost a year and a half into it now.
Nice.
So,
And it's not easy for sure. What did starting out look like? Like, what was day one for you?
so it's kind of weird when I started, you kind of go through this thing where you're like, okay, I've got the idea. This is what I'm going to do. And then you do all the fun stuff, right? You're like, I got to pick a name and I got to get a website and I got to do all this stuff. And it's more like structured, like you're doing this, and this. And when you get done with that, you're like, now I got to go find people.
Yeah, now
and
what?
that's where it's like, oh no, that's where the first challenge kind of comes in is finding people. And we were talking before this podcast, I started with cold emails. Back, it was February of last year. I started sending out cold emails. I did it for about 4-ish months, and there's no telling how many emails I sent out, and I actually got one client from it. So,
Nice.
And it was a big cleanup project, so it took a lot of time. And then what happened was I actually stopped doing the cold emails, and I shouldn't have. I should just let it keep rolling.
Sure.
But at the time, since everything was very new, I didn't want to like overload myself.
Sure.
I was trying to take it a step at a time.
Well, the fear of not being able to do like what you promised for your client is a real...
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you're like, dude, if I had 10 of these say yes tomorrow, I might eat a nice dinner that night, but I'm going to freak out the next day.
Yeah, nobody would see me for weeks because I'd be
in the back cave figuring it out.
Exactly. Yep.
So what is kind of your superpower? What do you find yourself doing well? Like, what do you notice about the rest of your industry now that you've kind of been in the professional space for a while? And what is that thing that you were trying to kind of hang your hat on?
So, this might sound a little simple, but based on who I've talked to, the number one complaint I hear from people is the communication part of their interaction with either their CPA, accountant, or bookkeeper. Apparently they're hard to get a hold of, and so one of the things I do is, I just respond back quickly, right? If somebody texts me, calls me, emails me, getting back with them as quick as possible. And I know it sounds super basic, but it's it's something that I think actually does set me apart. I mean, I've had people tell me that, so it's the communication, just keeping in contact,
access.
And also there's different. There's like different. I guess the best way I can describe it is different curveballs, I guess, that you'll see with either software or systems that they have that you have to work through, and I've been pretty good with working through those, different situations.
Sure.
So,
I want to talk a little bit about technology, just briefly, not at a crazy high level.
No,
everybody here's a developer. For people listening, I think the big QuickBooks word is thrown around pretty violently in your industry.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how QuickBooks did it, but the perception that they're the only player in the game is a very jaded perception to the average business owner, because they're absolutely not the people that invented accounting software. It was not the first ever use of it. They just found a really, really good way to make it seem super accessible to people just getting started. You ventured a little bit outside of the QuickBooks space. You don't have to be like certified QuickBooks advisor. You actually give people a little peek into other ways to effectively handle their bookkeeping with a little bit of technology baked into it. So tell me, for myself, these people have heard me talk about what I don't like about QuickBooks. They know me pretty well.
Yeah.
What was the value in escaping that, on that rival territory of QuickBooks? Like, I know that it's going to be a necessary evil for you in your industry, but I think that you found some things that are, as good or better and more applicable to some of your clients outside of the QuickBooks world. So talk to me about kind of that journey and what it's done for you.
Sure. So I was, when I first started, I did focus on QuickBooks because it's so well saturated. Everybody knows what it is. So we're in B&I, and we had a member in the B&I group that he was a fractional CFO, and he introduced me to this software called Puzzle. And I had never heard of it. I never worked in it before. And he told me about it, and he told me about the differences between QuickBooks and Puzzle and how much better it was. So I dove in, and it did not take long for me to get up to speed. And because that's something with accounting, is a lot of the fundamental things are all the same. It's
Yeah,
just
the
how
verbiage a lot is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just how the software works, and Puzzle is fantastic. I've had conversations with a handful of different people that I've told about them, and they're like, "That sounds fantastic. I hadn't heard about that." You know,
a lot of people are surprisingly against QuickBooks these days too.
Yeah,
a lot of people are like, I understand how big and how fast it moves and how expensive it gets, and
that's what
they're
I was
getting
say.
into kind of the hidden.
Yeah,
you don't really know what you're going to pay on any given month type of thing. It's pretty stressful.
It can get expensive if you do payroll through QuickBooks.
Credit card processing.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of fees, and it'll when you set somebody up with QuickBooks, it's going to walk you through a process, and you're thinking they'll spend $50 a month, and by the time you get to the end of it, it's like $100. It can get expensive.
Yeah, and I see people spend $500 all day long. That's before credit card processing fees. Like, if you've got everything enabled, all of the exterior things that they do, I mean, you can spend thousands.
Yeah, their highest plan is quite expensive. So, and that's something else that I help people look at is, somebody might be paying for the highest plan, but they just need the entry level one. They don't use all those features. So that's something else that I do too. Like,
I think it's a little badge. Like, I pay for the big QuickBooks. It seems like a really cool thing to do early on, but I think the average business owner is using like 10% of the functionality of QuickBooks.
I mean, I would say 95 to 99% of people can use the basic plan and be perfectly fine.
Yeah. And so what has kind of been the obstacles that you face in the business world are very diverse, and I'm sure that you can point to some things that are harder versus easier in the business world for you to overcome. But for you, if you're talking to the audience and they're, about to start their new business day one next week, what do you tell those people to look out for? Like, what's been hard for you, the obstacles that you've had to overcome, and what would you tell people, as kind of a word of advice that are about to experience some of those things as well?
The biggest thing I would say, and I think this depends on the person too, is marketing. I'm an accountant, right? I deal with spreadsheets and debits and credits and that kind of thing. I didn't go to school for marketing. I have no, I don't know much about it. My recommendation for anybody starting out is jump into marketing. I mean, from day one, don't push it off, because I'm still dealing with it now. I'm just trying to figure out the systems and what works and what doesn't. And that's the hardest thing I've been dealing with lately is the marketing part. It's just, there's a lot of stuff out there, and just trying to find out what works and what doesn't, it's a constant learning experience. So
I think marketing is, these words that I'm about to say get said a lot, but I don't think that maybe people understand it the way that I would like for people to understand it. Marketing rewards consistency, whether that is you going to a BNI group, or it is, cold emails or social media posting, or like blogging is really popular in your space, putting your perspective out there into the world of what is happening financially and giving people like the layman's terms understanding of stuff that they don't really understand, right? I think that if you can find a way to market your business in a way that you actually enjoy, you will see so much more return on investment than if you're doing like the necessary evil. I would also say, I know that you'll agree with me on this, right? The hard part is getting to the conversation. I believe that you guys are listening. I know Zach here agrees with me, but if you can get to having a conversation with someone, whether it's face-to-face or virtually, your likelihood of closing those people after demonstrating the type of person that you are is so significantly higher. Man, like, get to the first step. Prioritize getting in front of the people for the very first time, and that is why marketing rewards consistency, because if you're asking for the same thing, if you're letting the internet know, or letting people know, or letting your networking group know, or whatever that is, ways that they can be valuable to you, eventually that message sets in. It becomes a powerful thing. And as well as I do, when you get in front of people, you don't have a hard time closing those people. You don't have a hard time talking about the value that you can bring. I don't either. I don't have a hard time talking about the technical side of my business. I don't have a hard time talking about the implementation side or the cost side. Everything from that side is very transparent for us. I've been through that I've been doing this for a decade. So what have I been through this 400 times, 500 times implementing merchant accounts? It is the how do you get to your next appointment that is so difficult, and that's what gets rewarded by consistency. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was told by somebody, you basically find what you like, find out what works, and just keep doing it.
Yeah,
like,
just that over and over.
Yeah,
over and over.
And I mentioned this earlier with the cold emails. I wish I'd have just kept rolling.
Sure. Because marketing doesn't really reward the bursts. It doesn't want to do this up and down, up and down, and up and down.
I have since started them again, so it's a process at this point. But yeah, it's finding what works and just doubling down on it, and just keep using it until it doesn't work anymore, and then find something else.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And so, where do you go from here? Talk to me about your goals. One, like, what does this business look like for you in, a month, a year, 5 years, whatever that plan looks like for you, and how do we help? Like, what are the type of people that you're looking for introduction wise? Where can you work? How can people find you? All of those things.
Sure. So right now, I'm still working on building, essentially building the client base. I'd like for it to be, full time, keep me busy from 9 to 5 every day. So finding small to medium sized businesses, like I mentioned earlier, I haven't really niched down yet, but
I don't say that word right either. Don't swear.
Oh yeah, I don't. It's one of them. That's one of the words. I just don't know how to say it.
Well, it's probably like there's 5 different ways to say it, and everybody says it one of the different ones. So I haven't married one yet.
Yeah,
you'll probably hear me say it 3 different ways.
Yeah,
you hear me say
that's
it 3 times in an hour. So,
but yeah, right now I'm just trying to find the different business to work with. Some, whoever out there is having issues with their bookkeeping, or if they're kind of confused about their financial situation with their business. I can help them give the clarity and I can make the process simple. I can give them that clarity they're looking for. And at the end of the year, instead of scrambling to find everything for their taxes, they can just hand it off to the CPA and they're good to go. At this point, I just do the bookkeeping. I can handle payroll, accounts receivable, payable, all that stuff. I'm working towards the ability to do taxes. So it's a work in progress, but hopefully hopefully in the next couple of months I'll be able to do taxes as well. So then it becomes more of a one-stop shop. So
sure,
which I think would be pretty beneficial. So
I think that's important as well, because like I said, marketing rewards consistency, but the business, their needs aren't consistent.
Yeah.
Right. They're what they're looking for. The problem that they're looking to solve is not the same from person to person to person.
Yeah.
And for me, like, it is a little bit more consistent. See, they're like, I'm paying too much, or this thing doesn't necessarily work, or I just absolutely hate calling the customer service line or sending an email or whatever. Yeah. It's pretty consistent. And for you, depending on the time of the year, depending on the industry, depending on like federal regulation that changes before elections, there's a lot of upkeep of your level of knowledge, staying up to date on what is going on, but understanding where your clients are at any given moment, I think, is so important. So having that, here you're mostly talking to this guy during tax time, and you're mostly talking to me during other times and things like that is it leaves the opportunity for things to get lost, things to get missed, and it's probably usually the merchant. Like, we both know that. You guys probably, but don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that doesn't reply to your CPA. Don't be the guy that doesn't reply to your bookkeeper, man. Like, call me back if I'm your credit card processor, please, dear God. I just want to help. But the truth is that staying up to date on all of those things and meeting people where they are and being a little bit relatable, because you do those things as well. I think people don't realize that. You do your own books. Mm-hmm. You do your own. You will do your own taxes. You know what I mean? Like, that is, you'll be taking some of your own medicine. I do my own credit card processing. You know what I mean? You take a little bit of your own medicine, so you know what that stuff looks like over time as it continues to change.
The biggest thing is, and I alluded to it earlier, but there's always something that's going to surprise you, right?
Sure.
Excuse me. I've been dealing with the situation, we mentioned it earlier, with some integrations, inside of QuickBooks. And there's 3 different clients I'm working with right now that have these integrations, and we're trying to figure out basically how to not use them, right?
Right.
You figure out what that process looks like, and it's just like you deal with. It's just random situations that pop up, and it's just knowing how to navigate that.
Yeah,
and
that's not what they taught you in school.
no,
Yeah.
no. You figure out, hey, this is the problem. You know what the solution is. It's just trying to find that middle ground to how to get to the solution. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you're headed in the right direction, my friend. I always enjoy talking to you. I enjoy
same here, man.
connecting you with people, because I find you to be a very normal guy in the space of, my brain works like your brain. I'm very, very good with numbers, and if my life was just numbers, I would navigate those things extremely effectively.
Yep.
But that is not the the blissful place that we live in yet. You know what I
Unfortunately
mean?
not.
And I really don't even mind it. Maintaining those relationships with people, getting to know people, finding out what you can do to help people, like, that stuff is powerful, man. Like, there's going to be some times, like, I do it. You just saw me building my first ever website out there. And so, like, at 11 o'clock at my house, when I'm slamming my mouse on my desk, I'm like, yeah, the instructions you're giving me don't seem like what it's asking me to do right here. Like, there are moments that a lot of people don't see. So I think the relevance of that for you guys that are listening is that there's going to be those moments for you as well. There's going to be things that you have to learn. There's going to be different things you have to do. There's no like set it and forget it. There's no doing a lot of the same thing forever and no curveballs ever coming at you. That just doesn't exist. And if you're not hearing that from the people that you're doing business with, if you're not hearing that or not getting that explained to you by why there's some lag or why there's a little miscommunication on people that are providing you business services, they're probably dealing with that too. Maybe they don't want to stay quite as up to date on some of those things, on some of those changes, some of the technology. Like, you want just a little bit more consultation in a lot of the business services that have been commoditized, like yours and mine. And I think that we do a good job of that. So I'm excited about where you're going. Tell people where to find you. If they want to buy something from you tomorrow, they need to know where to find you.
Yeah, you go to the website. It's dasheraccounting.com. I've got a webpage there you can check out. That's about it. I'm also on Facebook too, so you can Dasher Accounting Services on Facebook. So I'm there too. So
nice. Well, we'll continue to push people to you, man. I think that you're a great guy, and I wish you a ton of success in the future.
I appreciate it.
And for you guys listening as well, man, like, it's not an easy journey. It's not a short journey. It is, if being an entrepreneur was so easy, nobody would have employees. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different type of thing. But I believe that at Burn the Ship, the thing that we talk about is taking that first step, burning the ship, trying your best to commit to this thing that you're trying. And I believe this. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm sorry if you like plug your ears when I say this part, but I think that if you take a bet on yourself and burn the ship and give yourself a chance, that you would be incredibly surprised at how capable you are. And I think that if you build a network of business owners, you would be surprised at how normal those people are, right? Like, I'll end with this, right? I've got a quick story, right? And if I say company names, bleep them out, okay? Because I don't mean to. But I went to Nashville yesterday for a networking event, meet some of my old clients. Like, it was a really, really good time too. Nashville's just fun in general, right? And so I drove up there to see one of my oldest clients. My boss is like putting on his slacks. And so if you know Jay Worthy, like, this guy putting on his slacks gave me like red alert, like, this guy don't do that. We must be going to the right place, And so I met a guy there that had started a company, and he told me I was the CEO of a very, very large gas station company, right? Very large. He was their chief marketing officer initially. They went through an acquisition from a company in a foreign country. And that foreign country, their leadership over there from the on the business side after this acquisition was like, hey, I really just need someone that I like the way he communicates with me. And so they're like, yeah, you want to be the CEO? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so one of the first things that he did was went and negotiated a deal with like the largest supplier of gas pumps in the world. I want it to cost less for us to put gas pumps in when we build new gas stations, right? And that didn't go over great. I think that some of the people in the country that had purchased this company were getting a little under the table money from the people that they were using, which is not uncommon, not uncommon at all. And they wanted to keep that relationship intact, probably cost somebody some dollars. And he was like, all right, well, if I'm stepping on someone's toes when I do these things, I'll do nothing, right? I'll do nothing. He was the CEO of one of the largest gas station companies in the world for 3 years and did 4 quarterly calls a year that he did not speak on and did nothing else. I think they paid this guy to the tune of something about $6 million right, in 3 years. And then he said, all right, I've made enough money. I hate these dudes. I hate the board of directors. I don't speak I almost said the language that they speak. So I don't speak this language, right? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I've accumulated enough wealth to go and
It's like
give my own business a try. And it is nothing even close to what he was doing professionally, right? Like, it is night and day what that guy was doing versus the industry that he went into. And knew nothing about it. Was excited for the challenge, and he is very, very successful now.
That's awesome.
He is very successful. And the point that guy was making was like, the CEOs of these massive companies you think are these Harvard business whizzes, and I wasn't. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Those people are normal people. The business owners of the world are normal people. The homeowners in $100 million houses, they're normal people, man. Like, these people are accessible, and gaining their business and their trust and a relationship with those people is very, very achievable, right? And so I think that is one of the things that I'll leave you guys with that kind of quiets my conscience, is like, nothing is unattainable, nothing is unachievable. You can meet those people, you can build relationships with those people, you can grow your business to places that you didn't think were possible. And hopefully some aggregation of all this, skills and experiences and stories that we've aggregated on the podcast help you guys do that. So if there are things that you guys are looking to hear, please let me know. I love you guys' feedback. We're almost at episode 800. I think we're going to try to do something pretty cool for 800. So, but I believe in you guys. I hope that you guys believe in yourself, and there's anything that I can do in the meantime, please let me know. And until next time, burn the ship.